drop your drawers. You got a real man that shows support while you rocking and doing shows and tours. Rhymes so dope that the world is yours. Tanya Montana got me open for sure, like an open sword. See, our love's already spoken for. Players wanna provoke a war. Getting violent is a thing of the past. Nowadays, I just laugh. You do the math, pimpin'. She got a life, paid to rock mics, lined up with Christ, so you know the flow's nice. Just as beautiful as her appearance, you feel the spirit when you hear her lyrics over the sample clearance. She got it going on like Girl 6. I'm sprung in a whirlwind, meaning more to me than just a girlfriend. Cause she got that crazy love, made me wanna show what's changing love. And I never will be ashamed of love. Yo, it's so good it got me singing love. Cause she got that crazy love, made me wanna show my neighbor love. And I never will be ashamed of love. Yo, it's so good it got me singing love. You go, girl, get that paper, girl. Just remember that you can't save the world. Just cause they iced out don't mean display your pearls. Among the swine they lie and hate you, girl. They don't wanna see you shine cause you famous, girl. Despite the fact that you stay faithful, girl. Real recognize real, they faking, girl. Brothers saw it cause they know that you're taking, girl. While you on tour, I'll stay away from girls. Hood rats, chicken heads, they be snaking, girl. Remain true to you, I never played you, girl. If I did, I wouldn't know how to face you, girl. If you can remember me and your prayers, girl. You my better half and I'm thankful, girl. Me without you would be so painful, girl. Yo, you're something like a hip-hop angel, girl. Dig it, dig it. Cause you got that crazy love. Made me wanna show what's changing love. And I never will be ashamed of love. Yo, it's so good it got me singing love. Cause you got that crazy love. Made me wanna show my neighbor love. And I never will be ashamed of love. Yo, it's so good it got me singing love.
Oh, think of someone like you. Thinking, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
CDs right here. CDs from the acts you just performed. Excuse me, it's only $5 for a CD.
Hot dance on we should have stopped. On my sleeves, I was wearing my heart. My beliefs, I was tearing apart. She was my religion, I declared as an art. I idolized her, itemized her. Fiend for these same, I secretly supply her. But I tune the blame, but I used her to fuel her. Lyrical claim, I'm not a loser. To walk next to her, you understand. To be a man, most thinking you, I had to throw a check to her. My mean dog, food off the mic that I hit when brothers were drooled off the sight. Let it take that I'm with. Excites the words of describing your next to something that's desired. To possess requires possession. I need her in my life to see I invested. Most things being chased don't wanna be, but she keep a pace where face stay in front of me. What a great catch, don't let it get near. My biggest fear is that my interests will disappear. I ain't escaped yet, but in time I find something to climb for the challenge of it mere. Sweet nothings in the ear of my next ear. My dear, in the making, I make tears. For the faces of beauty, I turn ugly. I want you to want me to be unclear. So good at courting and yet keeping. I ain't quite perfected, I'm just orbit. Steady deceiving myself, believing I ain't leaving for somebody else. It's a cycle that I just can't get through. I love her right now, though, superficial.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel, Fighting the Enemy, where every week at a time, we're fulfilling our purpose, we're achieving our goals, getting one step closer to our bigger goals, and making sure that we always keep our futures crystal clear, because that's what life is all about, having direction, having purpose, because without that, you have no future. So welcome to video number 4. Feels good to come back at you. Hope everyone had a wonderful and productive week. There has certainly been some challenges with me and my day job. Again, I'm just going to announce again that I am training for a half marathon that's coming down on March 20th over here in New York City, and also that I'm back into school full time and I'm taking evening courses 4 days out of the week and then a Saturday course. So I've been very, very busy. So I just want to apologize that this video, that it was meant to be the second video of the week when I did the last video, Good Faith and Sincerity. I didn't mention that I was going to do a double header, and it didn't just fall through because there's just too many variables came up. So I just want to really apologize, and that moving forward, I'm still going to share in the end of the video a conclusion and the follow-up and what's next and what you guys can expect in the next video. I'm just not going to mention dates anymore because it's just not, it makes me look bad that I can't follow up on the dates, and that's just because life being life. But thank you for joining me, and now that we have that announcement out the way, again, I just want to remind everyone, subscribe if you haven't, pretty please. Not for the purposes of fame or monetization or anything like that, because I'm not involved in any of that. It's just so 500 subscribers, as I YouTubed it and I looked it up, it gives you a feature called community board, and with that it just helps me post like announcements without having to like rely on the different social media platforms I you know, like Instagram or Facebook and all the other stuff. I don't really have to rely too heavily on that just to post like little nuggets and things like that that happen throughout the week. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do. It would really help me out with keeping you guys up to date with some of the outrageousness that happens in the dating scene throughout the week. Also, another big announcement, like I mentioned last video, for Valentine's Day, mark it on your calendar. It's not actually on Valentine's Day. It's a Valentine's Day event with a wonderful organization that's called Beyond the Abuse. Shout outs to them. Yesterday we did like kind of like this, you know, roll call of the plan and who's showing up, and I'm really excited to do it, really excited to hear other people's opinion, as we're going to be discussing predominantly long-term meaningful relationships, and they got a pretty good variety of, you know, men, women, a married couple, and different perspectives. So really looking forward to that. I'm going to leave a link below. It's going to be next week Saturday at 3 p.m. So shout outs to them again. Also, something that I'm a little bit flattered on the last video, someone left a YouTube comment post. This individual, who I'm not going to name, on the last video, in sincerity and good faith and sincerity, it seems like they're really just trying to troll me. They left, their comment was a heinous accusation, and ironically enough, and this is what's convincing me that they're trying to troll, is that if you guys recall in the last video, we discussed what a loaded question is and what the more likely than not the purpose of a loaded question and why it's used. So we know when someone asks a loaded question, they assume something about you, or their premise is some kind of outrageous, volatile statement about the person. And they do that because they have an ulterior motive. There's an agenda behind the question. And if you don't spot it out, address it, and reframe the question to remove the assumptions or the heinous statement, you're basically falling into the rabbit hole, and you put yourself in a automatically you're going to put yourself in a defensive posture, because the loaded questions are generally asked to antagonize the the person who you're seeking an answer from. And so this person who left the YouTube video was basically made this assumption or this otherworldly observation saying that I'm over here speaking poorly about women and saying crazy heinous things about them, and that the channel, because in another post they put a link to another YouTuber's channel where the discussion was about men not leading relationships or pursuing women for the purposes of sex, or I'm probably misrepresenting that, but the whole point is this person is clearly just trolling because they're randomly just writing this. And in the last video, which I do rewatch my own work, there was no such thing done. And just because if anyone was convinced by her outrageous, outlandish comment, I wrote down timestamps. And so at the 8-minute mark of the last video, Good Faith and Sincerity, I made it very clear, and I'm going to make it clear again. This channel is not for anyone to gain pickup lines, gain guidance on how to get some easy box or how to get an easy smash or anything like that. I'm not here to do that. I don't recommend that stuff. It's not me. It never will be. The channel will never evolve into that. We're not doing that. This is not for no pickup artists and how to pick up chicks. I'm not here for that at all. It's mostly giving guidance and how to protect yourself from being finessed, and then giving guidance in general and what to look for and how to support positive elements and when you're getting to know someone, to have that proper blueprint, proper foundation to have a healthy relationship. So again, 8-minute mark, last video, I made that very clear. Channel is not about that, and it never will be. Second timestamp, 11 minutes and 30 seconds in, I made it very clear when I did the little nutrition facts data sheet, which it won't be here in this video. Sorry guys, there was just no reason for it. But there will be more reason for it in the future. It was very clear. I made it very clear that that little, comical element I threw in there would only be used and is reserved only for women who put in a lot of effort trying to finesse me. And so that's not for me to just slap on to anyone. It's not senseless. It's, for my purposes, it's a comical tool, but it's not senseless. I'm not randomly saying anything about that about anyone. It's just for specifically my prior anecdotal experiences. So again, not sure how I got that outlandish comment, and it really is otherworldly. And number 3, and 16 minutes and 30 seconds in, I reiterated that the content in general in any of these videos and in the channel is best suited for people my age and older, 30 plus. And even in the last video, I was like, okay, maybe 27 plus, depending on where you find yourself in terms of financial stability, considering where you live. And although I will always speak about New York City, because that's just the setting and element of my channel, that's just who I'm picking from, the guidance isn't limited to that. Any advice is not limited to that, but that's an important contextual detail to keep in mind, where it's like, if you don't really have that proper financial foundation for you, you're not really in a position to invite someone into your life, at least not in the adult sense, where we do this very unfun thing called pay bills and rent/mortgage, right? And so I made that very clear. That's just the point, who the target audience is. And so again, this person is clearly being a troll, leaving nasty comments into the comment section, and I'm sure I'm gonna have to get used to it, because I don't think that's ever gonna stop happening. I think this is just the beginning of something that's gonna keep going as long as I keep going. But for anyone who read that and was like, does that video contain stuff like that? The answer is absolutely no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But here's the good thing about trolls: where there's trolls, there's bridges. And if anything, if I gain anything out of that comment, is to show that a bridge is being built because she found her home under the one I'm building. And so, shout outs to the troll, because your comment sounds like this to me. And more importantly,
Get away from me!
because if you don't like what I'm saying and you don't agree with anything I'm saying, don't watch. It's not for you. Just click away. Go watch something else. I'm not here to attack or antagonize anyone. Like, just move on. But anyway, that brings me to the recap. Good faith and sincerity, right? So we're over here on video number 4, which is something everyone can relate to, because everyone's been through some form of the bait and switch. And the title, of course, of the video is she baiting me? Is she baiting me? Is she putting herself on a hook, luring me in to then pull the switcheroo on me and then basically bamboozle you, right? Hold on. Yep. So there's something I wanted to pull up here while I recap. And so the reason why I picked this to be video number 4 is because it's very, all the things I discussed, we discussed in the previous videos, it's like building blocks. It's like Tetris. It's all gonna fall into place, and these are all gonna be critical thinking skills and schemas to keep in your mind to help you deal with new scenarios or even existing scenarios, to help you pick up on nuances and things to flag and question, but more importantly, suspend your judgment and allow yourself some time to put the context together. And so, good faith and sincerity, if we use that as a foundational principle, good faith being a verb, they take action to put themselves on your time. You take yourself to put yourself in their time, and then the sincerity, meaning that there's this decorum, there's this feeling of, hey, there's nothing bad gonna happen. They're being honest with me. I don't have this fear, or at least this reasonable fear or reasonable doubt that they're trying to use me or misguide me or anything negative, right? That's just going to be removed from the atmosphere between you and the person. And so all those things you want to keep in mind. Of course, remember that what we covered in the original video, hidden, HIDDEN, hedonism, immaturity, double standards, delusional, entitlement / elitism, and narcissism, right? Those are characteristics that you want to keep in mind with the person that you're talking to, because if they're only talking about me, and the only thing they're discussing when you're getting to know them in the first week is how you can please them, what you can bring into their life, or telling you on day 1, hey, can I get $40 for my phone bill or something like that, you immediately know to be throwing those red flags and question that, because there's something obviously not right about this scenario. And the third point that I wanted to bring up before we go into the main topic is that I know I mentioned in the last video was the open door policy. So the open door policy, as I consider it, as I practice it, is that sometimes you're going to find yourself in scenarios where, for whatever reason, but not because they were finessing you, because if they're trying to finesse you and you bust them, you just get them out of the way, remove them out of the equation, remove them out of your life. You keep that ship sailing forward, you keep that bird flying up to the sky where you need to go. But sometimes things just fall out for whatever reason. You ghost each other or whatever it is, right? For reasons that you're not being finessed. That's where I throw in the open door policy, because like I mentioned, like I kind of mentioned in the last video, I just think it's a shame and kind of like a waste when I'm getting to know someone, 2 or 3 weeks pass, X amount of time is invested. Maybe we met up once, maybe we didn't. I'm pretty convinced that they're into me or not. Maybe they feel the same way, I'm not sure. But I leave the door open, right? I leave it cracked open for them. And that's just an analogy or a metaphor to leave the ball in their court. So when they want to come back and hit me up, you know, yeah, we're going to pick up from where we last left off, but there's no reason for me to cut you out of my life or block you, unmatch you, and all this other stuff, because it's like, why throw away all that time that was previously invested for nothing? There was nothing negative that happened. There was no maliciousness, no animus, nothing negative. So why throw this potential relationship, even if it is just casual, or maybe it just still hasn't developed into something serious yet? So regardless of how that, schisms, the point is the open door policy is there is like a safety net to not lose what could potentially be, basically. And so I also made a note here in my notes that it's never, when I discuss these things in these specific scenarios and we go over these cases, it's never, ever, ever my job, and I would recommend this to anyone, man or woman, it's never my job to determine the truth. The person is telling me the truth. I know there were some, comments and some feedback that I got from some previous videos about there was like some theories, right? Like, oh, like, why did that fake Christian woman send that last, that, hey baby, I'm on my way, right? Like, why did she write that? And then one comment, outside of YouTube, one comment was that, oh, I think they did that on purpose. I don't think they sent that to you in accident. I think they were just doing that to make you jealous. So I never plague myself in my brain, which was an interesting comment. I mean, definitely could be. I don't know. But I'm never going to dedicate brain cells or more than 1 or 2 seconds to deliberate and think about what really happened, what was the truth, what were they doing. Never, ever, ever, ever going to get into that or think about that, because it's not my job. It's not my job. A lot of these scenarios, it's like things that start and end between 2-3 weeks and less than 60-90 days. And so it is, I'm not here with a magnifying glass trying to follow into your steps, figuring out what's going on. Not my job. Have too many things going on to be doing that kind of stuff. So into the main topic. Question is she baiting me? Oh, and before I get into the first point, shout outs to the mystery solvers that, well, that didn't play. Yeah. And it should never be your job to be determining if they're telling the truth or not, because if that's the kind of impression that they're giving you already, and you are in the getting to know them phase, that's already a yellow flag. So main topic again, my apologies, is she baiting me? And so what I want to do first is, of course, pull up the screen share and get into what a bait and switch is in more of an economic sense. And so please excuse that the screen might be a little bit blurry. I was just reading a comment there, my apologies. So a bait and switch, an illegal sales tactic in which a consumer is lured by a low price only to be told that the special offer is no longer available and steered to a higher priced product. So the element of a bait and switch, when we convert that definition into a dating sense, the key defining element to the bait and switch is the intent. And the intent right? That is the foundational premise, defining element of it. They intended to change up the story, change up the narrative to get what they want from you, right? And so because we're talking about dating and dating with purpose and doing something serious with the other person, is that they tell you X, Y, and Z first, let you believe that, steer you into, the first meetup, 2 meetups, 2 or 3 dates in, whatever the activity is, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, I'm not feeling it, there's no connection, I found someone else, or hey, let's just be friends, or hey, I really like you, but I think maybe we should extend this whole friendship period, or whatever it is, right? Like, I don't know what the reasonings are or what they're saying. That's not the point. The point is that after the said activity occurred, after the goods were exchanged, after the service was exchanged on your part, on the guy's part, right? And I'm not saying this doesn't happen to women, because it happens to women too, but this is Channel 4 Men by a Man that's here to serve men. So for my fellas, right, you go, you pick up the bill, you do all this and that, you're courting her, you're making her laugh, showed her a good time, do all this other stuff, X, Y, and Z, and then all of a sudden you get hit by, she either ghosts you, lost enthusiasm, hit you with the friend zone, or whatever else that isn't something that's ideal for you. More likely than not, you just got hit with a bait and switch. And so before I get into more specific examples, because in the last video we covered the entail of a situation in progress, and so today I do have 2 receipts for you to go over, to get into, to inspect here. But I think I want to make it crystal clear. It's more important to know what is not, N-O-T, not a bait and switch, before we get into the examples out of my life. So if you're on a date with someone, or you're talking with them, getting to know them, whatever the case may be, right? And you say something wrong, or you do something wrong, and they are no longer interested in you, that was you messing up. That was not a bait and switch. That was just you messing up. You messed up, bro. That's all I could tell you. They didn't bait and switch you. You killed the moment, whatever the case may be. Want to make that clear. So if you said something wrong, did something stupid, you killed the moment, and then now you're angry and upset, and you're like, oh man, she was trying to finesse me. No, I don't think so. I think you just messed up. And it happened to me. It happened to me a couple of times myself. No one's immune to that. It's all a learning curve, man. So, shout outs to the failures, and hopefully you learned from it. Because from my many failures, I certainly learned from mine. Second, catfishing. So this is in particularly to my ladies. Women, if you are catfishing, to be more specific, to curtail this example to anecdotal experience from my life, where I meet a woman and she's 40, 50 plus pounds bigger than her pictures on her profile, and then I choose to not only, no pun intended, point the elephant in the room that you are not the person in your pictures, and then I decide not to talk to you anymore. That is not me baiting switching you. That's not a man baiting switching you. You just committed fraud. You just catfished them. You're being deceitful. You're being deceptive. You're wrong. Period. So if they decide to ghost you, run away from you, whatever the case may be, as soon as their communication is cut off because you catfished them, that is not a bait and switch. you're just wrong because you catfished them. Two wrongs don't make a right. But I don't even know why I said that, to be honest. You're just wrong from the get-go. Nothing is going to be built on that. No man in the right mind is going to want to build on that. It's crazy. You can't. How do you expect to win someone's trust and you're being deceitful on day 0? So think about how they're thinking about the last couple of, days, weeks, whatever you have that you were talking to them, and they're thinking, man, this is the person in the picture that I'm about to meet, and then that's not the case. So again, if you catfish someone and they don't want to talk to you no more, it's not a bait and switch. You're just wrong. Last thing I want to say here, this one is gonna make women.
And I call you an insecure, overbearing, psychopathic, dictatorial, egomaniacal, frigid, lunatic asshole!
This one's gonna get women pretty upset, and it might even cause my YouTube channel to go. So, warning: you might not like what you're about to hear. It is not a bait and switch. It is not a bait and switch. If a man walks away from you, decides to excommunicate you, or no longer wants to pursue you because you have no wifey skills and you are not wifey material, that is not a bait and switch. You're simply not wifey material. The reason why they're not talking to you anymore or taking you seriously anymore is in the explanation. And whether they had the courage or not, or the patience or the backbone or whatever it is to tell you that or not is irrespective and regardless of the point that the truth is, whether it's been spoken into reality or not, is that if you're not wifey material and they don't see you being an outstanding great mother to their would-be child, assuming that that's what they want, since most men do want children, and they no longer speak with you because you have demonstrated to them that you are not the one for them, that is not a bait and switch. That's just you lacking. So again, I know people are going to get triggered and throw a Molotov cocktail through my window and get nasty.
And I call you an insecure, overbearing, psychopathic, dictatorial, egomaniacal, frigid, lunatic asshole!
But I just want to make it very clear that, again, you do not experience a bait and switch. You just have things to work on and improve on. And we'll cover that in a couple of videos down when I feel that I'm prepared to handle that discussion. So let's move on to... I left a note here. Okay, yeah, that's for the end. All right. What is a bait and switch? And so here I'm going to pull up the screen share. I'm going to look at one example. This example here, and I'm going to give context when in a bit. But this was the scenario where, if you remember from the last video, this was the person I was writing on WhatsApp, and okay, switching. All right, this was the person I was writing on WhatsApp, and this is basically more of the beginning. And so to give some context here, we've been speaking for however long we were, 2-3 weeks, maybe 30 days, however long it was. But this was some time ago, so my memory is not going to be super clear on it. And, I'm definitely feeling her. I'm thinking she's feeling the same way. She comes commuting from a very long trip away, one more than an hour away to my understanding. And so we meet up, we hit up the venue, wasn't a place where you eat. And the whole meetup in general was about 20 minutes, 15 minutes long, which was very odd. And in the majority of the meetup, of us linking up, they ran away to the bathroom for whatever reason. line, low, no line. They were in the bathroom most of the time. So again, keep in mind, not my objective, not my prerogative, not my role to determine the truth or not. I just know that most of that time that they came over, I didn't actually really spend with them anyways, which was very odd to me. And so obviously when we were done checking the venue out, we split it ways. And so whatever it is that they have planned for the rest of the evening doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. And I don't care, to be honest. What I was kind of hurt about was that, I was really into this person. I felt kind of bad because I was thinking, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Like, did I smell bad? Like, what? Like, and I never smell bad, but I was really thinking, like, what had happened? I never experienced something like that before. And so this message she was writing me, where we see in the beginning where it says very nice photos, this text message was a couple of days after my birthday, and they were like hitting me up again after like some time of like straight silence. And so I sent them photos, and she wrote back very nice photos. And then I wrote, I just felt bad, and I just did not know what to say or do, because we were kind of talking about when we met up originally. And so I was writing, I just felt bad, and I just did not know what to say or do. Hence why I was kind of silent for the time that we were silent. And I was like, and I honestly would have loved to invited you over, meaning my birthday, my get together that I have for my birthday. I honestly would have had loved to invited you or spend some of my time with you. I just wasn't sure. And then she writes, I understand. I had a great time that night, but I did feel there wasn't a connection. There wasn't a connection I was looking for. I do, however, enjoy talking to you. And then I wrote, I'm sorry. Looking down emoji face. It's a tough spot to be in because I'm really attracted to you, but I'm not interested in platonic friendships. It's a hurtful spot to be in. So we're going to very quickly look up. I should have put this up. I'm going to very quickly look up what platonic means. A lot of people misuse it. And they don't really know what it means. And so to my understanding, while the definition pulls up here, it means that it's a non-sexual friendship, but they're still flirting, they're still courting, there's still romantic inclinations. It's just non-sexual, right? And then, so I'm gonna go pull up the screen share again. So platonic, a love of or friendship, intimate and affectionate, but not sexual. Their relationship is purely platonic. So, fellas, keep that in mind, because this is generally what women like to have in their bench of dudes that are friend zoned. They like to have a whole bunch of men. I'm happy that YouTube catches potentially crazy comments that I was just looking at my phone for a bit. My apologies. Women love to bench men that fit this criteria, that they're all showing some level of paramour, romantic inclinations, but they're not. But they're keeping it strictly not sexual. And so, generally, and I know I can say this for myself, I'm not investing that kind of energy and brain cells and that effort into a woman, especially knowing how I feel is genuine, if that's not going to be reciprocated back. Hence why I wrote what I wrote. So let me go ahead and take this down and switch again. And so, and you're going to see that I described that in my reasoning. And so, so I think I just read that last part, hurtful spot to be in. They respond, there's nothing to be sorry about, Chris. From a little I know about you, you're an amazing person. Are you saying we shouldn't talk because of your attraction to me? And then I wrote to them, I appreciate the compliment. And then this next message is going to be a zoom in of the message that comes after I appreciate the compliment. And so I write, I'm saying I don't think it's emotionally healthy for me to continue this. I have no reason to doubt how you feel about the lack of connection. And I did it. If you're not attracted to me at all, then I'm just hurting myself. It's not like there's an off switch. I can't just magically not find you to be sexually appealing. And it would be hurtful to me to not have that in return because that's what I want. When you're attracted to someone and you're sexually attracted to someone and you're courting them or trying to court them and build that bigger connection, these feelings, this is nothing unique. Like, of course you're going to have this feeling about someone you're seriously pursuing or would like to pursue, you know, but it's also going to make, and I know a lot of people, men and women, could relate to this because if you're not getting that back, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel like crap. So not an outlandish thought or thing to say. I'm just being very honest and sincere about it. It's like, hey, look, I don't see how this is going to work. Because you clearly just said you don't feel any connection, but for some reason you're hitting me up. Maybe you're thinking I'm not going to pick up where we last left off, because I definitely am. And it's true. Like, at least I'm speaking for myself, but I would also say most men are the same way, that it's not magic, right? Like, you just don't, I don't see someone who's attractive one day and then tomorrow I don't think they're attractive. Like, it's not how it works. It's one thing if you have self-control and you can discipline yourself and not let, the smaller head between your legs guide you, just because that's way out of the point. It's not the point at all. What I'm saying is that if I find you attractive today, I'm going to find you attractive tomorrow. I'm going to keep finding you attractive for years and years and years on until you don't look attractive anymore because of gravity and age, right? It's not magic. It's not going to go away. There's no on and off switch. It is what it is. And so this is what they respond. Oh, with the emoji face that's like, seems debilitated. I don't know how to explain it. And then I respond to them, and I write that with zero malice or resentment. I'm sure you had experiences. I'm sure you had experience wanting someone and they don't want you. Just not going to do that to myself. And then she responded, yes, I recently had that experience and it was honestly painful. I'm understanding of your choice, 100. Then I wrote, like I said before, I'm not a fan of blocking people or ignoring them. If there's a change of heart, my door is open. So remember what I said in the beginning of the stream, open door policy. Then they responded, I've never had someone stop talking to me because they like me. But okay, Chris, take care. And then so between this message and the next time I heard from them, I think was like in December, or my point is the increment of the time period isn't what's important. What's important and what I'm trying to get across to the viewers, especially my young gentlemen, that younger, less experienced gentlemen that struggle with this kind of stuff, is that the hardest thing to do right here is express yourself. And if we go back to that message when I wrote no malice, no resentment, I wasn't writing what I was writing to be angry or be like, oh, or like, oh, F word, why they don't want me, or like getting upset because things didn't go ideally the way. No, that's not how you handle situations at all. Like, it's immature, and you're demonstrating to yourself that you don't have the proper emotional tools to convey your disappointment or your frustration or your unideal mood, basically. And so it's very important, although it's extremely difficult. I take it from a guy who was forced into anger management by the Marine Corps for 4 years. Take it from me. Putting your feelings into words is extremely difficult. It really is. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in 30 days. It's not going to happen in 2 months, 4 months. It takes a lot of work. And I don't have my critical thinking book next to me to give another shout out to the critical thinking, but we're going to do that anyways. You got to think long and hard and remove any pressure under yourself that you're putting on yourself to put your feelings into words. And so I think it was just very important to kick that guidance out. But without a shadow of a doubt, this scenario is a bait and switch, because they're saying, okay, hey, they didn't feel any connection or anything like that after the fact of 2 or 3 weeks of silence, and then they're like randomly hitting me up asking me, hey, let's go catch a drink, let's go catch a, all this and that. Oh, hey, by the way, we're still not going to be doing anything intimate because I still don't feel a connection, but I still want girlfriend-like treatment. And it's like, huh? So, bait and switch. At first, we were on the same page about X, Y, and Z. I respectfully and of course understood, hey, there was no connection, right? That's not, obviously, like I said, by definition, that's not a bait and switch. They weren't feeling it. Do I know what I did wrong or whatever to ruin what I thought was going on? No. But what polluted the statement she made about not feeling a connection? Coming back to me, like we saw in the last video and those messages, coming back to me and asking for X, Y, and Z. And then when I followed up and say, hey, was there a change of heart? Was there a change of something? She says no. But hey, I still want to go out. I think there's potential for something here. And then they start painting this whole gray area possibility thing, trying to make it seem like if it's not a simple yes or a no. And fellas, it's always a simple yes or a no. It's either you like the person or you don't. It's just that simple. And especially if you're 30 plus years old, it has to be that simple. Like, this isn't, you're not a Care Bear. You're not around that age anymore. Like, you should have enough experience and knowledge of the world and how to be considerate of other people to just tell them yes or no. So again, in my opinion, in my understanding and nuances and context that I don't have enough time at, and I don't want to, first of all, because I'll be here for 4 hours, to add into this scenario. But if you, in the totality of the circumstances, if we add in other nuances and context to this whole scenario, this was a bait and switch, because it was like, it's more feasible for me to imagine that this was a part of the plan for whatever reason. Once they determined that, hey, you know what, no connection here for whatever reason, but now let me circle back to them, still keep intimacy off the table, but see if I can get that good treatment, that boyfriend treatment. And it's like, no, that's not gonna happen. So fellas, keep that in mind right here, especially when they throw the gray area stuff at you, because there is no gray area. And I wrote down a quote here that a professional colleague of mine shared with me many years ago. And we're gonna get into the second example of bait and switch, but I just want to make it very clear why I do the things that I do. And there's a reason why. Again, the channel is called Fighting the Enemy. Enemy being a fancy definition of lack of direction and lack of cultural direction, right? Like, you have no schema to go on, no fundamental principles to go on to lead your relationships, to lead your life. And in this case, leading the relationship, me leading how this turn of events is going to unfold, that's what I'm doing. I know how I want this to go, and I know what I want from the other person. And I need it to fall into place the way I need it to. And so I'm going to share this quote. If you don't make plans for yourself, someone else is going to make plans for you. And in this scenario, I didn't let them make plans for me. I don't let people make plans for me, because I have goals and I have things that I pursue and I work hard at. And those are the plans I give myself. That's my direction. I give myself direction. And that includes my relationships with my friends, my best friends, my family members. Shout outs to my family. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That doggy sound is hilarious. So that was pretty funny. I didn't mean to play that, but whatever. I'll take that one home with me. So thank God they're well and healthy. And I love you, mom. And again, you're given that direction, and that's why right, I'm doing pretty good with myself because there's always direction. There's no gray area. There's no I don't know. There is no none of that. Direction, direction, direction. So with that being said, I'm gonna pull up the other example, and this other example is gonna be a real treat because this is this was a blend. This was a blend of experiences, and not only did they blatantly try to finesse me, but they tried to finesse me because I guess they gave up. Like they couldn't keep up the fake sincerity anymore. Like they didn't have it in them to keep up the guys anymore. And then they hit me with the classic finesse line. And so we're gonna pull up the screen share again. I think it's just hilarious. And so this person, because there was something kind of wrong with the order there, so that's why I was switching back and forth very clearly there. This person, I was hitting them up. We talked for like less than 12 or 14 hours. It was mostly just text. And there's a lot of things I want you fellas to take away from this, especially harping on my point about knowing what you want, putting your feelings into words, and then giving yourself that direction, right? Because you're going to see a lot of that here, but you're also going to see, if you keep the previous principles and the previous videos in mind, what this person's trying to do. So they're going to, hopefully as I read through, you'll be spotting the red flags. Or excuse me, not the red flags, the yellow flags. The red flag came at the end. But so they wrote, I read your bio, they're in white, I'm in blue. I read your bio, you get straight to the point, you don't do meaningless dating. It's like that. And then I wrote, hey, the person's name. That was the message I was trying to get across. LOL. Well, emoji, confident emoji, shades emoji, LOL. I 100% like what I see, but of course, always have to tread carefully. She wrote, yes, I understand. I wrote, thanks for reading my bio. Most people don't for some reason. I don't know how to describe that emoji face. And yes, I don't want to speak or spend time with a woman who's not attracted to me, which goes without saying. You're on a dating app, this type of dating app where you're paying for a subscription. It's safe to assume that, well, it's not even an assumption. You can make the inference to say, you're probably being serious as well. More likely than not. They wrote, hold on. Yeah, I'm still in order. Just chunks of the messages I was skipping and on purpose because it was just a lot of explanation. I didn't want to get into that. She wrote, yeah, I read. I want to know what I'm getting myself into. And yeah, same here. I want a man who spoils me or love me for me. So I put the word spoils in red because I don't want to say that's a red flag, but for me it's a red flag. Generally a yellow flag without a shadow of a doubt. You flag that. When you hear that word, you flag that. Because most time when that word is used, the woman's just basically saying, hey, I'm lazy, I don't work, I don't want to do anything. I'm not ambitious. I just want someone to spend money on me because that's just what I'm looking for. And women typically who are like that, sugar babies as they call them, or I think that's what they're called now, they embrace the whole acronym that I put in that first video, hidden, right? Hedonism, immaturity, delusional, double standards, entitlement/elitism. Put a super big star next to that one. Entitlement, elitism, and then the last one, narcissistic. Generally, women, in my anecdotal experience, whoever says spoil me encompasses 5, if not 5, then all 6 of those characteristics, which is a humongous red flag, which means you avoid at all costs, because that's just a purely toxic person. But again, I'm not someone who jumps to conclusions. I flag this, but then eventually we'll see what happens, which is understandable. That's normal, of course. You have to get to know the person, etc. But 99% of women I come across looking to, I wrote fitness, I meant to write finesse. I come across looking to finesse and take advantage of men, and that ain't me. ... The message that was kind of cut off there, she was saying that men just want me for my body. Nah, I don't take advantage of, I think she meant to say men, but she wrote me. Nah, I don't take advantage of men. I treat a man how I would want to be treated. Men been texting me, I think she meant to write they, but all they want is my fat ass. I want a man. And I wrote, I understand that, and that comes with time. I'm not sure what you mean by, quote, spoil, end quote, you, but I'm not here to drop bans on anyone out the gate. I can understand going out and gifts, etc., but if we're putting unreasonable expectations or you're acting entitled, then I can tell you right now, I'm not for you. And I say this with the utmost respect. So again, making it very clear out the gate with this person that, hey, if your expectations is just me throwing money at you senselessly, I'm not for you. There's nothing confusing about that. There's no gray area. It's black and white, yes or no. They responded, I think what they were trying to do is explain what they mean by spoil. They were like, oh, who spoiled me, love me, unconditionally, lifts me when I feel down, and makes me feel like no other woman matter. I mean spoil as if I don't got it, I expect a man to help. Then I wrote, I can see how that is typos. I can see how that is the case. And I say this respectfully. I like what I see, meaning her pictures, and you're gorgeous. But I'm looking for a wife. So it's going to take more than a fat ass to keep you by my side. I need a woman who can be a good mother to the future kids I would like to have. And generally, that's just how I vet women. I ask questions that help me understand what kind of mother they would be. Having a great body doesn't mean a person is a good parent. Make sense? Their response, I'm glad you said that, but I'll make a good parent. I've been wanting kids for a while now. You seem too demanding. I meant to put a red line under that because where were my demands? I didn't send her a list of demands, so I'm not sure why they wrote that. You say you want a wife, but I feel like we won't connect because of the stuff I'm saying you disagree with. Then I wrote, I'm not demanding anything from anyone. It is just a matter if a serious relationship is what you want or not. Granted, it's not a one-day process because you have to speak to the person and see where they're coming from. What are your disagreements, if you don't mind me asking? And so at this point, my state of mind was like, yeah, I think this person definitely is just not looking for something serious and does not want something serious because they're writing this stuff and it's out of nowhere. They're definitely in Pee-wee's Playhouse. They're definitely, I don't know where they're getting these sentiments from. And so for the big reveal, because at this point I already came to the conclusion that they are more likely than not probably just going to try to finesse me because of the whole spoil thing and the fact that they're already positioning themselves in opposition to me. And if you guys recall in the last stream, what do people do or women do when they want to become untouchable or make distance? They create the artificial moral high ground. I'll say that again. The artificial moral high ground. they magically create a problem, or they blow something out of proportion, something minor out of proportion, to make that distance, to get that, to do this, to get that distance from you, to make sure that they get put in a position to demand from you without having to give anything from you. And whenever you try to cut off the natural circle of reciprocation, when someone's trying to do that, it's already a sign showing you, demonstrating to you, hey, there's nothing here. And so with that, let's go to the big reveal. So a lot of this stuff up there is black because it was like addresses and stuff like that, and I don't want anybody with Molotov cocktails or with malicious intent knowing the areas I hang out at, because I don't want to get killed. But yeah, what they wrote was, yeah, I can't even imagine. Oh, okay, that's good. I know where that's at. But my phone is about to turn off, so I stopped texting. It's because I got to pay my bill. Right now, I don't have the money to pay my bill. So I'm going to have to talk to you when I get the money, I guess. So there it was. There it was. The whole time she was just playing games. So in this, building up, this includes elements from the last stream. This is also a bait and switch, and it's also my mind just blanked in that last part. I forgot the third point that I wanted to make. Oh, it was also an example of them blatantly trying to finesse, right? They ran out of energy. They couldn't keep up the sincerity anymore. The whole thing about looking for something serious, wanting something serious, completely threw that out the window and went straight about their phone bill. Their phone's about to turn off and they need money for their phone bill. It's not here. I don't have it because before I got the opportunity to take a screenshot of them asking me for $45 for their phone bill, they already unmatched me. So I guess they came to the conclusion sooner than I was able to get that receipt in, that I wasn't a sucker, I wasn't a dummy, and I wasn't gonna fall for it. So they failed on their part. So to put into summary all the elements that we discussed so far, especially bringing up the last stream, like I said, they can fake the sincerity. They can fake being sincere. They can make you feel like you're in a harm-free zone, right? You're in a danger-free zone. You got nothing to worry about in terms of being finessed or used. But you can't fake good faith. Can't fake it. Because good faith is, like, and I'm only repeating myself, is action. They put themselves into your time. They make sure that you're reassured. They demonstrate to you through their actions that, hey, I'm here for you and I don't want to make you think otherwise. And so, gentlemen, this is why I show these examples out of my experience, because I know this happens obviously to men and women, but again, as a channel for men, by a man, to give guidance to men, to not fall for this stuff. Know what you want. Give yourself that direction. Fight the enemy. Don't allow anyone or anything to put you in some kind of limbo where you lose plans, goals, and more importantly, time. But to the point of what I'm saying is direction. Direction. Like, you know what you want out of a person. You got to know how to get there. You got to know how to vet them. You got to know what to ask. And so I share these experiences to kind of give you a blueprint or guidance, because that's what I got from my parents, from my sisters, from my older brother. I have two older sisters, and the positive men that I met in the Marine Corps. This amalgamation of just good advice and people looking out for my better I know not everyone has that, and so this is the purpose of the channel. This is kind of like an element of the, how do you say, the idea of what I want it to be. And so to kind of tie that around to the original person that left those very nasty comments on the last video and the comment section, I really challenge you. Where in this video, the last video or any of my videos, did I maliciously, with anger, animus, or harbored rage in my heart, talk about or go through any of these experiences? Where is it in the receipts? Where is it coming out of my mouth? Where is it in general? Where's the anger? Where's the rage? Where's the misogyny? Where is it? Where am I teaching men to, or giving guidance to men about, hey, these are the good pickup lines to use to get some tail? Where is it? Because clearly not only did I think I did a pretty good job of building on the blocks that I laid out from the last video with this video, but I'm showing, hey, this stuff happens and this is how you protect yourself from it. Always keep that in mind. Hedonism, immaturity, delusional, double standards, entitlement/elitism, narcissism. Are they exhibiting an uncomfortable amount of those characteristics? Good faith and sincerity. Okay, the sincerity is there. Check. Good faith? Yeah. You on day 1, day 0 telling me, hey, my phone is turning off and I need $45 for that. That's not good faith. No. Stop it. Artificial moral high ground. The way she was trying to separate herself, but then later try to ask me for money. Right? Cognitive dissonance. You're not realizing how you're contradicting yourself. All these things, keep in mind when you're dealing with people. And sometimes it does take an hour or two, day or two, to recognize it. Because you got to suspend your judgment, bring those details in. And so, in conclusion, again, good faith and sincerity, hidden. And overall, I guess what I'm really trying to say, especially when it comes to the bait and switch, if you're questioning yourself about the person you're talking to, about the person you're pursuing, if you're questioning yourself about them and you're asking yourself, I wonder if they like me, or is there something more I can do to make them like me, or is there anything extra I have to do to convince them to like me? That is already a sign in itself that you need to cut that loose or stop. Stop. Because you're probably going to get finessed, and you probably just experienced a bait and switch. Because, like I said, good faith, they're going to make sure that you're reassured. Reassured. You're not going to be left in that limbo. And so with there, I'm going to conclude. And what's next? So the advice for women episode, I'm going to push that back many more videos. I don't know how much more further back. I think it's a pretty daunting challenge because it requires so much logic and it requires a lot of building blocks to be there. And for someone of my circumstances of being single for 10 plus years, and right, like it really is, like I don't necessarily think it's even in my place to do so, but as a man, and men are gatekeepers of the relationship, knowing that I have had a number of experiences where I'm trying to help guide a woman to get things started and then they simply just refuse for whatever reason. That's just discussions for another day. I think in that sense it's appropriate. And so while I still hash those details out, what you can expect in the next video, in the next stream, is me getting into some recent experiences and some of the wonky and redonkulous things that I experienced recently in the dating apps, where for whatever reason, women liked me. I respond to them liking me, and then they're like throwing daggers straight for my neck. Like literally, like off the rip, no warning, no nothing. I didn't say anything wrong to them. I didn't do anything wrong to them. No crazy comments, no salacious anything. They just right away just went for my neck. And I don't know what I'm going to title the next video. I'm going to be working on that in the next couple of weeks. But I think it's important to bring these things to light because it will help to build up to the whole advice to women stream. But more importantly, these are all common denominators, right? Good faith, sincerity, hidden, self-questioning, gaslighting. These are all common denominators. And so like I said in the original video, the pre-recorded one, what happened to dating, right? New bird, same trick. I'll say that again. New bird, same trick. So these elements won't go anywhere. You're always going to be seeing it because, again, all the birds are reading from the same book. And so when you get pretty good at identifying these things and pointing them out and, you know, pointing the elephant out to the room with the person in a way that isn't trying to cause conflagration, you'll see that, yeah, like this person has no reason to be looking for a relationship, and then you move on. And so in the next video, I'm gonna show firsthand just some of the things, some scenarios that I experienced over the last couple of weeks in 2022, where it really is just. You know, it's just a mystery because it's like, why do things that are not conducive to what you want? It's counterintuitive to getting what you want. You know, like if you wanna buy a house, you don't spend all your money and destroy your credit. If you wanna buy a new 3-piece suit, you know what I'm saying, you don't argue with the guy you're trying to buy and get from and call them names and pejoratives so that you can sell it to you for less. You don't see what I'm saying? Like, you don't do those kind of things. You don't antagonize the person that you want something from to get what you want. But for some reason, it seems like someone's teaching women out there that you gotta be angry and bitter to get what you want from men, even if you are trying to finesse them. And it really is a puzzling, perplexing mystery. So shout outs to my angry, bitter women.
And I call you an insecure, overbearing, psychopathic, dictatorial, egomaniacal, frigid, lunatic asshole!
But you know, I'm here for you, and we can work together because, like I said earlier in this stream, the hardest thing to do is to put your feelings into words, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time. And with that, I wish you all a good night. Have a great, productive Monday, upcoming week. Do your thing. Stay positive. Don't do things that work against your goals. And again, self-reflection. So with that, outro.